Today, I'm going to take a look at Panzer Digest, issue number 14. This is a war game journal that is published by Minden Games, and it's kind of like a war game magazine in that it has games that come along inside of it. There are 3 complete war games inside, as it says here on the cover, and those games are Viking Fury, Battle Over Europe, and North Cape. Now, I've covered a lot of Minden Games, and you can take a look at my playlist under Minden Games. You can also take a look at, I think they do a war game journal or book type format called Panzer, and so I don't know how they are related between the Panzer Digest and Panzer and some of the other journals they put out, because they all seem somewhat similar. They have Minden Games inside of them, and they also have some articles inside of them as well. So interesting format. I don't know which came first or if they're supporting all the different formats on the go forward, but this is my first Panzer Digest that I've covered. And it's somewhat interesting. So let's take a look at it. First off, it's got a little bit thicker outer cover, that is consistent with like some of their board game books or their books that their game books that they put out. So it's got a little bit of a thicker outer cover here, and then it's kind of magazine size. So that's a little bit different than some of the other books that I've covered from them. Here is the what's in issue number 14. This was from summer of 2019. And you see they have quite a bit of information on how to use this book. That's something that's kind of similar with their game books or their war game books, how to construct the components. With Minden Games, there is a little bit of DIY. There's a little bit of do-it-yourself in that you have to construct the counters. Sometimes they might sell a supplement that has the counters, but they're usually not perforated or die cut. They're just a sheet on thicker paper or cardboard or poster board, and you have to cut them out. So and here you just have the paper one, so you either need to make a copy or make a copy onto, like I do sometimes, is make a copy onto a sticker sheet or a label, and then put that on thicker mounted material and then cut it out that way. Here's all the different, there's a section from the editor, and then alternatives for Silent War, Wild Blue Yonder, and Gary Graber is the proprietor of Minden Games and the primary designer. Fields of Fire, Early Viking Expansion, Viking Fury Rules. This is interesting, Early Viking Expansion. So this feels a little bit like your typical war game magazine, in that you're going to have an article and then a game to an article about a subject matter and then a game on that same subject matter, it looks like here. There's the counters for all the games in this issue. Looking back, there's that Jagged Panther magazine. I don't know if that was part of their magazine. I think I did Panzer. Anyway, they might have several different formats. Realism in Battle Over Britain, game review, games published in the Panzer Digest. So we might take a look at that and see what other games have been published in the Panzer Digest. Battle Over Europe, Zox and stuff, Naval War Game Society, Combat Leader, Battle of North Cape Rules, Other Wars at Sea, First Look, and Last Word. So quite a bit of content in here. There's color and some background formatting or shading on this as well. Here's from the editor there. Here's alternatives for Silent War. That Silent War is a Compass game, so you're already seeing some articles about games that are not just Minden Games. They're going into some Compass games here. Here's Wild Blue Yonder. That's a GMT game. Talking about that. Fields of Fire here. Here's that article about Early Viking Expansion. So a little bit of a historical background. And then we get into the game itself. Here's Viking Fury. And here's all the rules for that, and you're going to use a deck of cards to, augment or supplement or kind of move play forward. This kind of gives you some of your ship movement, it looks like. Here's some of your charts, and here's a treasure table, and here is the map for Viking Fury. It's right here in the book. So you're going to want to either make a copy of this, or probably want to take this out somehow, because you can't really read the rules if you're playing in the middle of the magazine. Now on the back they have war game titles available from Minden Games, so it's just an advertisement if you did want to try to take this out. I've got some of these games myself. Here's the game counters that you need for this game. As you see, it's just on paper. Now their paper is a little bit thicker, but it's not clearly thick enough to support counters. And there's article on or advertisement on the back of that as well. So if you wanted to pull that out somehow. Here's more rules and charts for Viking Fury, and even more about Viking Fury. And Viking Fury is just that. It's about the Vikings kind of invasion of Europe, or conquest in Europe, and some of the early aspects of that, and it's a whole game on that. Here's looking at Jag Panther magazine. Yeah, that's a different magazine there. Born in 1973. Here's Realism in the Battle over Britain. Here's War Game Reviews. And so this is several reviews of different war games here. Here's Masada. That's one of the Minden games. Some more games here. So that's kind of again, this is truly a kind of a war game magazine. Then they're talking about different types of war games. Here is the intro to Battle Over Europe. This is dealing with the Battle for Britain. This is Volume 6, World War II aerial combat game. So you're gonna have the rules here. Here's an example of the counters for the game there. More rules. Here's your disengaging table. Playing ratings. Here's standard game, standard scenarios here. You have the Battle for France, 1940. Interesting. Here's Winter War, Barbarossa, Battle of Britain, and Western Desert. So you got some different scenarios in here for this game. So it is really Battle Over Europe. Here's the fire combat table and critical hit table. And here's an extended example of play. And here's your dogfight display. As you can see the suits of cards. Again, you might use a standard deck of cards in this game. Minden Games does that. It's interesting. Minden Games does that. High Flying Dice games do that. They use a standard deck for a lot of their randomizers. Zox and Stuff, or How to Get New People into Our Hobby by Hans Cording. Might read that. Naval War Game Society. Here's another article down here. Variant rules for using dogs in Combat Leader. Battle of North Cape. Here's a little bit historical article, and then you have the North Cape rules. Now, North Cape, this is following, this uses the same rules that are in Great War Salvo, which is a game I've covered a lot. I'll put a link to it in the description. I really like Great War Salvo. It's a great solitaire game, and very easy to get into, play, and have fun, and still has enough decisions in it. And what this is, they took that and did Advanced Salvo European Theater and took it to World War II. That's really no longer available. I think you can get it by PDF possibly. But so this is the World War II variant of Great War Salvo, and that's one reason I picked this up, is because I wanted to see how it translated to World War II, since Great War Salvo is World War I, and I really liked it. So, but I think this is probably follows some of the exact same rules in it. You can see an example of all the stats on the ships there. And you can play the game opposed, but it's a great solitaire game. And at least I find it very easy, very fun to play solitaire. Here's your C display, and this is going to tell you your range and how you close, and that's a key part of the AI of how the enemy is going to go back and forth on this. There's your solitaire enemy movement down here. Got some special rules, and you have some scenarios here. Other Wars at Sea. Great game there, classic War at Sea. And here's Combat Leader, which is a Minden game. And here, this is one of those battle packs, I think, where you can buy, and they'll give you some thicker cut, not necessarily die cut, but thicker, you know, counters that to cut out that they're on a little bit thicker paper for you. And there's the end of it. First look at Forest Sevastopol. And then the last word, and that is Panzer Digest, issue 14, a war game journal. You know, I really like Minden Games. They're kind of a no-nonsense, no-frills type game company, but their designs are interesting, and you know, a lot of naval designs in their catalog. But I've enjoyed most of what I played. Now, again, it's not fancy, it's not die cut, it's not you know, not a lot of chrome, although there's a lot of different rules. There's usually alternative rules and advanced rules and all kinds of different options with the games, but that's not the kind of chrome I'm talking about. I'm talking about nice counters, nice maps, player aids, all that kind of stuff. You're not going to get that with Minden Games, especially not when they come in like a journal like this, or in one of their war game books, or even some of their bagged games. But anyway, worth a look. I'm definitely interested in North Cape. I'm interested in all three of these because I haven't played any of his air games, and I don't know what system that is using. And Viking Fury looks like it's a whole standard standalone game. So anyway, that's what I have for you today. If you have any experience with Panzer Digest or Minden Games or any of these games, feel free to put a comment down below. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching.